July 4th, 1863, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. 39 degrees north, 77 degrees west. United States of America, North America, Earth, the solar system, Orion Arm, Milky Way Galaxy, the local group, the universe. This is the Battle of Gettysburg.
Our days, July 4th and beyond, were mainly about the aftermath of the Battle of Gettysburg. This included the retreat of the Confederates, the cleanup of the town, the Gettysburg Address, and many different interpretations of the battle. The Union may have won, but they didn't realize that for a while. Also, Meade was considered unsuccessful as a leader, while Lee was a success. Their descriptions of success and failure when applied to the leaders didn't match the outcome of the battle, but for reasons of quality of leadership, they were to stick. The Confederates managed to successfully slip away, while the Union floundered after them. Lincoln delivered the renowned Gettysburg Address in the battle-ravaged town of Gettysburg. He talked about the war and why they were fighting. He remembered the men that had died fighting. He delivered one of the most famous speeches of all time. A lot happened on July 4th and beyond.
Union General George Meade. From afar, he would appear to be a successful leader. His army did win the Battle of Gettysburg. Well, under closer examination of his poor tactics and obvious lack of leadership skills, his failure becomes more and more apparent. Faced with opportunity after opportunity to pursue Lee and his army, Meade chose to lie dormant. If you had to choose one word to describe General Meade, indecisive would be a very adequate choice. Although he was rather inspired to attempt a pursuit and attack on July 13th, he admitted that his own conviction was not enough to warrant the overruling of the conceptions of most of his corps commanders. Critics of Meade have alleged his minuscule accomplishments at Gettysburg nullified due to his severe inclination to blindly allowing others' opinions to hold superiority to his own. Only when he learned of Lee's departure did Meade order a pursuit, but it was evidently too late. Relatively speaking, Meade crumbled under the encumbrance when faced with the slightest situation requiring any declaration of judgment. He also had a very evident lack in confidence of his troops, as well as a severe lack of determination.
Excuse me, in your opinion, was Meade a success or a failure? Didn't you hear? We won the war! So you feel his leadership was successful? I owe that man my life. God bless you, General Meade, forever in your depth I am. Meade is a general hero. To you I owe my God-given life. Meade, you're a general, you're a hero. Just please don't look at me. Here's a guitar, miss.
We consider George Meade to be the failure because he was a weak leader. He was indecisive, timid, and overly cautious. He didn't use the golden opportunity set before him. He had a chance to potentially end the war by pursuing the broken Confederate army and crushing them. He could have ended the war, saving countless lives, but he was too hesitant to take the opportunity. He let an entire army escape under his nose. Sure, he did pursue them a bit and fire a few shots at them, but he didn't truly destroy them the way he could have. He was born in Cadiz, Spain on December 31st, 1815. His family lost their money because his dad supported Spain in the Napoleonic Wars. His father died in 1828. 6 months later, the Meade family moved to America. He went to West Point in 1831 because financially, it was the only thing he could afford. He never wanted to stay in the military, so after his education, he dropped out. He couldn't find a job to support his new family, so he rejoined the military and worked as an engineer for them. He was a civil engineer. Meade replaced General Hooker as the head of the Potomac Army shortly before the Battle of Gettysburg. His fame was short-lived. Soon, Ulysses Grant took control of the entire Union Army and quickly overshadowed Meade. He stayed with the military until after the Civil War. After the war, he commanded the Division of the Atlantic in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He remained the commander until he died on November 6, 1872, from complications. He had old wounds from battles that caused problems, which led to death by pneumonia.
Hi, I'm Mary Spinnacle, and I'm coming to you live from a former Confederate camp, which you can now see is in ruins. We're here today to get first-hand accounts from the Union soldiers about their general, George Meade. Good evening, sir. In your opinion, was Meade a humble success or a failure?
Meade is an absolute failure. He is truly a disgust. His name alone leaves the most
rancid taste on my tongue.
What for you solidified him as a failure? He outlasted the Confederates after all.
Ha ha ha. He outlasted the Confederates? Ha ha ha. There was no finite moment I realized him a failure. The day the Nob was born, he was a disgrace to his country. I have a family, you know. Every day I will risk my life. Every day I will risk my life in residing under the control of a complete idiot.
What should he have done differently?
Other than his service, lack of feasible leadership qualities, he should have gone after those filthy rebs, given those scoundrels a run for their money. Please excuse me, I have more important matters to attend. Good day.
Robert E. Lee was the successful military leader of the retreat after the Battle of Gettysburg because he was able to maneuver an entire army away from the battlefield. He organized a successful retreat that kept his men safe. Robert E. Lee was born on January 19, 1807 in Stanford Hall, Virginia. He went to West Point because of financial difficulties in his family. His family couldn't afford to send him elsewhere, so that's why he attended West Point. This set the stage for his future as an important military leader. When the Mexican-American War started, Lee was sent over to fight. He took everything he learned about military tactics there and was able to retain the information and reapply it during the Civil War. In 1861, Lee was offered control of the Union Army. This created a difficult choice. On one hand, if he took control of the Union Army, he would be fighting for something he believed in, no secession for the South and an end to slavery. However, he would also be fighting against his friends and family. In the end, friends and family won out. Lee was going to fight for the Confederacy. He was placed in command of the Army of Northern Virginia when the war began. It wasn't until 1865 that he was put in charge of the entire Army of the Confederacy. He fought hard and was a great leader. He wasn't the type of leader who acted like he was above his men. He lived in the same conditions as them and didn't feel he deserved any special treatment just because he was the leader. Eventually, the war was lost. However, Lee was very gracious about losing. After the Civil War, he became president of the Washington College. He worked there until he died on October 12, 1870, from a stroke. The college was later renamed Washington and Lee University.
Abraham Lincoln gave a speech at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery in Gettysburg on November 19, 1863. It was during the American Civil War, about 4 months after the three-day battle took place at Gettysburg. Abraham Lincoln gave the speech because he was invited to say a few words. The speech was told to inform people that the soldiers who died there had died for freedom. Abraham Lincoln wrote the Gettysburg Address because he wanted and needed people to know that there was a reason why the soldiers were giving their lives. Lincoln chose clear words to show the importance of the Declaration of Independence and human equality.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we're engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation